Honestly speaking, from the point of view of climate crisis, it's very late in the day for us to do anything to really reverse course. I think the course has been set. We're on that course. What we're going to have to do now is try and figure out ways to mitigate and for us to be able to adapt to conditions that are certainly going to change.
We really need to look at the kind of state of our soil, our water, the type of production system. How do we really move forward?
The highest consumption of this product are all in the different places than where the current production and the current processing of that product is. That on its own, it adds up on the logistic and the transportation, which ultimately drive the cost of the food, which could have been avoided if the planning and the system that are designed to drive these value chains are aligned also with the priorities and the developmental challenges that exist across the country.
The first one is that we have to have new indicators for success. We can no longer just think that it's about productivity and income, end of story.
How can we make sure that local food systems are acknowledged and integrated into our food nutrition systems so that it is promoted?
I think it is very important also to look at the issue of gender, the role of women in terms of the informal sector as traders, as food suppliers.
Our analysis of research that's been undertaken recently also shows that localized food systems have the potential of transforming agrarian economies and supporting off-farm livelihoods. Assumptions about the abilities of farmers to progress and commercialize have led to policies and strategies that do not adequately account for the structural socioeconomic factors that make it difficult for smallholder farmers to benefit from the range of government interventions that exist. Sustainable smallholder agriculture requires greater government support for agroecological production systems.
The pandemic has shown that we need more resilience, we need more diversity, we need redundancy in the distribution of food. So redundancy, there's in information technology or in computers, there's a thing about redundancy that if there's a blockage in one channel, there's multiple other ways to get around to the end point. And we need to think about the food system in a similar way. How can we create redundancy so that if some of our channels fail, for example, large-scale distribution of bread or poultry, that there are other ways in which products can get to consumers.
So lastly, is how can we support the development of early warning information management tools for proactive interventions to protect the well-being of the poor?
But more importantly, it's not only just around the issues of trade and marketing or side of it, but also ensuring that you find policies and you redesign some of the program and the institution that provide agricultural financing and support into our sector. As we know that with the closure of the Agricultural Credit Board and the privatization of some of the former cooperatives really gave void in terms of the intermediaries that used to provide affordable financing into the agricultural sector, which is the institutional instrument that gave us the commercial farmers that we know of today.
But actually what may be needed at this time is also to build up the base of household and small producers, even if they won't become commercial immediately or even any time in the future. But as a kind of a diversification of the base, as a widening of the base, as a seedbed which can allow other people to rise up over time.
Equitable redistribution of land in communal areas and appropriate support for smallholder producers must be prioritized in policy and implementation interventions.
All these put together and all these different elements, and that needs to be put in a puzzle that is creating this sustainable, very much inclusive and competitive agricultural value chain, is that it starts with building a very capable state that will be able to put systems and to be able also to correct some of the inefficiencies that exist in the value chains and be able to ensure that you create an enabling and a prosperous environment for business and market players to prosper in.